And welcome back to Digital Trends Live. I'm Greg Nibbler, and again, thank you, everybody, for joining us wherever you are. We appreciate it. Our next guest only needs to go by his first name. You know him from Jackass, from his stand-up comedy tours, and starring in the new movie Guest House, which comes out on September 4th on demand and digital. It's Steve-O. Steve-O, hello. How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. First off, I've got a lot of questions to ask you, but I got to ask, where are you right now?
Um, I am in my RV.
So that's awesome. Well, going from that, you being here in your RV, let's talk about your movie. So it's you and it's Pauly Shore and a bunch of other people. How did you get approached to do this movie, Guest House?
Um, my buddy Sam Macaroni directed it, and he told me that he wrote a part for me in it with me in mind, and I had to do it, and that's just kind of how we are, you know. We tell each other that we're gonna do stuff, and we're just that good of friends. So yeah, it's great for me, man. Anytime I get to be in a movie, I always think it's kind of funny, but it was a real good experience.
Well, one of the things, even in the trailer, is just a classic Steve-O move. You know, this isn't spoiling anything, but you crash through a window. And I was wondering, have you ever had a stuntman actually do anything for you in a movie?
I don't think so. No. You know what's so interesting about that is that I crashed through this big glass door, and it was rigged up so that it kind of blew up as I went through it. And I landed on these little square shaped pieces of glass, and cut my hand really like deep, you know, right on the heel of my hand, and it was pouring blood all over the place. And they brought in the, you know, whatever, the makeup wardrobe person, whatever. It was my first experience with them clearing away real blood to like replace it with fake blood. It was just a weird thing. Like they yeah, normally it's the other way around.
Well, something I wanted to ask you, you know, being in the spotlight for so long with Jackass, you know, which really came up with MTV, and looking at the social media landscape now, do you think Jackass would have been different if it were started in the era of social media?
I mean, that's a tough question, man. I think I was very fortunate to have been born when I was. You know, particularly at the time when you know, I was trying to be noticed. What I did to get noticed was to plug VCRs together and record to duplicate videotapes, and then you know, bring them to the post office and physically mail them to people who I thought might watch them. And that being the case, there was much less to compete with. Now everybody has a video camera in their pocket, and they can just you know, push a button and automatically disseminate footage. It's a very different world, and with all of the noise, all of the content to compete with, I think it would be very hard to expect Jackass to even happen, let alone, you know, have cultural significance in today's world.
With Jackass 2, you know, I know Jackass 4 is coming out, delayed just like everything else, but coming out next year. What is it about that group of guys, this core group of Jackass, that brings you guys back together every time?
I mean, we're all bros. I think what like the question that I interpret out of that is, you know, what brings us together, but what makes it work? You know, like what's you know, what's the chemistry, like what, you know, what why is there a demand, you know, for it? And I think that we the what we do, as reckless as it is, as irreverent as it is, I think that there's a real sort of a wholesome spirit in that we don't target anybody but ourselves. We never seek to make anybody feel bad. You know, like we really do everything that we do in a kind spirit. It sounds weird to say that, but I think the spirit of what we do is such that it just makes you feel good. And we're able to not take ourselves seriously, so we're comfortable with people being laughed at. I think that's kind of endearing. And, we guarantee that there's going to be a crash, along the way, and everybody loves to slow down and look at a crash. So I think those are the ingredients that make it work and that bring us back together.
With those crashes, which is the hallmark of that, you've done so many crazy things. Is there anything that you're afraid of doing?
My fears are, I like the idea that I might not be noticed, that I might not be remembered, that I might not, like, have anybody pay attention to me. That's been the big drives of my fear. I'm an attention whore through and through. So, I really have an overdeveloped concern for the opinions of others. That's kind of the basis for most of my fear.
Well, I can tell you've made a career. No one is forgetting about Steve-O. Like, you've got that covered. But I totally understand. Something I wanted to ask you too, along these, going along the tech side of things. I wanted to ask you this, and this has to do with something that's in the news. Neuralink is a company from Elon Musk that is figuring out how to basically implant a chip in somebody's brain to create a brain machine interface. Is that something you would be willing to try?
I think that we should take it one step at a time. And let's get these self-driving cars worked out before we worry about brain surgery. We've been talking about self-driving cars for a pretty long time now. And I would personally really enjoy to not have to drive. I don't like driving. If my RV could drive itself while I was just chilling in the back, lounging, watching TV, that's what I want to worry about, And I'm going to have a tough time taking anybody seriously talking about brain microchips until they can give me that self-driving car.
And I want to remind everybody, Guest House out on September 4th on demand and digital, and for everybody to check out your podcast and everything else that you've got going on. We appreciate you taking some time here to be with us on Digital Trends Live. And thanks, man. Thanks, Steve-O.
Hey, I appreciate that. I also want to tell everybody about my new multimedia special, which is streaming on my website. It's called Gnarly, and I got the whole Jackass cast together for the first time in a long time. So if you're looking for a Jackass fix, it's waiting for you at steveo.com.